Welcome to episode 2 of Level Up Your Life. So, the biggest reason I actually started this channel is because of the subject of finance alone. A lot of other aspects made me decide to call it more a more general channel that level up other things than just finance. But finance to me is something near and dear to my heart. That's something that I feel like I can help a lot more people with. So I want to give this information to you. Hope it helps you. Leave me a comment if this does resonate with you, and make sure you subscribe if it does help you as well. And then leave more comments about other ways I can help you. And I'll put together a video if I can on that regard. Now, a couple things we'll talk about. Something that's actually more practical for you to help level up your finances. So a lot of your videos on YouTube and other things on Instagram tout big ways to make big money and stuff like that. And truth is, a lot of the time you do need a few bucks to put towards that to make that dividend income or that investment income later on down the road. And truth is, a lot of folks aren't ready for that or don't have the finances to get there. So I want to give you a more earlier start where you can save up a little more, make a little bit more now, and then get to that point towards that passive income later. So we're going to talk about both subjects, okay? Ways to make more money now and later, and all things that are actually practical. That's my biggest thing that I want to add to this whole. There's other finance videos on YouTube, I get it, but with actual practical advice, I feel like this actually will help you more now. So we'll get to it, and then also some other pieces of advice of other financial advice that people always try to put out there, but again, more practicality behind it. Okay. One thing you really want to start with first, and this is kind of goes in the redundant category, but I'm going to cover it anyway, is cutting expenses. Okay. So before you do make more income in any other way, even if it's not something I suggest, you need to live below your means now. So having more income shouldn't mean more expenses. However, it does a lot for a lot of people, but you have to get away from that. Okay, so if you're making 500 grand a year, and there's people that are living check to check, but they can't cut certain things out. That's not going to help you long term going forward. These are people that can't save anything or have any sort of retirement fund, but seem to somehow get more income, but spend it all somewhere. It's crazy, but it does happen quite a bit. So if you're making 40 grand a year, or even 15 grand a year, or 50 grand, 60 grand a year, I don't care. You have to figure out what you can cut or at least watch before your income goes up and you decide to start spending more. It happens all the time. Now, granted, there are things that you might need to go with, okay? And that comes with an age thing, or accumulating more things like a child that needs more care or needs you start paying for dance classes or something like that. You can watch those things will happen, of course, and it's something you can kind of budget for, but you have to figure out where you can cut expenses that are adding up big, especially on a bigger income. So keep that in mind as you start to level up your income. That way you don't start spending more and all of a sudden you're in credit card debt, even in the high income brackets. Okay. That starts with the budget. We'll talk about the budget here at the end, actually, as well. But we're going to start small. Now, there's different ways to build up more income right away, and you can sell some things. You can do a side hustle and start making some projects and start selling those things, or even just flipping things on like eBay or something like that. And then I tried this for a while on Fiverr, doing a side hustle of doing various business type projects and finance projects. I kind of got away from that because a lot of folks on there were outsourcing to different countries and just getting completely low, crazy rates on things like $5 to build a business plan is not not worth my time. So I kind of stopped working on there. But it was unfortunate because it was kind of cool at first, but then it just got out of hand at one point. But there are still side hustles on there that are still worth your time, though, so don't discount that just yet. But those are a couple ways to get some money started now. Now, when I say side hustle, it's something that you can do a little bit on the side, just like it says. But I wouldn't suggest getting a second job because let's face it, you're probably going to wear yourself out to the point where like you just hate your life and it's just not that fun. Now, if you're in a bad hole and you need to work a second job, go ahead and do it, of course. But increasing one job's income is way better than working two jobs at lower incomes combined. Okay, obviously that makes sense, but here's how we're gonna get there in a second. But working two jobs just to make more money doesn't always work. You need to find a way to make more money in one job and enjoy that time off to regroup and balance your life. Otherwise, you're just gonna be burnt out and just miserable. Now, how can you make more money at a job right now? So literally just ask for a raise. Now, what if they say no? And it's likely going to happen more times than not, okay? But if you can ask for a raise and get it, great. If not, maybe you're just not, you've outgrown your worth there and you need to go somewhere else where you're going to be paid more. And maybe that skill set has grown, but the job is not. So you have to kind of balance that out as well. Figure out where you are not getting your worth, but you need to either ask for a pay raise or find a different job to get paid more. And then sometimes I know people hate to get a new job or change things, that people are just scared to change. It's a big human nature thing. But if you can get that raise, it might help. But I say ask for a raise first though, because then you can kind of gauge, is that employer finding your worth to keep you? And if they don't, then I think that hopefully it will teach you a lesson to say, I need to get out of here and move up and level up my life elsewhere. And keep that in mind is a lot of people are afraid of sales. I don't know why. Maybe, I mean, I'm just used to sales, so I guess I'm not sure why people are afraid of sales. But find a commission job. So people always say, I wish I was paid what I was worth or how much I work. Finding a commission job will do that because you can work your butt off and get paid for it. Now, there's times that, I didn't get paid for certain things because, a sale fell through or something like that. But there's many more times than that I got paid great because of a commission job. So figure out what you can sell and look into sales because it's honestly a great way to make money as opposed to working at an accounting job and then spending a bunch of time to earn your experience and then get a $5,000 raise 5 years down the road. As opposed to sales, you can get a quick raise really fast and make more money even faster. Or just, like I said, find a new job. Back to the other piece of asking for a raise. If they say no, then you need to find another job, most likely. And they're out there in 2021. I hate the day to video like this, but it right now is a great time to find a better job because there's so much opportunity out there in person, and then of course the remote space has grown as well. That to me was a big raise working remotely because I didn't have to spend the time and the gas to get to work, but so much more time I used for other things like working out or just extra sleep or just more time with my family. It's all a great thing of not having to drive to work all the time. Now, there are things you can do to add more streams, of course. And this is more like you need a little more money to invest in it. And, once you do make some more money from asking for a raise or getting a new job that pays better, you can start putting some of that money towards an investment that's going to pay you in the back end. So the average millionaire has 7 forms of or streams of income. And if you can get a couple more on your belt, it takes time to build those, okay? That's going to build you that lifetime wealth that pays you when you stop working. Now, some of those you can transfer to your kids or have someone inherit them when you're gone, or just however you want to handle that in your life. But you're going to get a little further in life if you're not trading time for money. That's with the job side, right? But adding more streams is really where the actual freedom comes from. That's truly where you want to strive for. There's case studies of folks that made less than $40,000 a year, were able to save a ton of money just by doing a little bit at a time, and that added up over time. So if you don't think you can do it, we'll talk about the budget here in a second again. But there's always a way to find a few dollars to save to build that long-term investment wealth and get paid that way through a 401k or investment dividend incomes somehow. But a couple ideas for streams of income are, of course, dividends. This buying stocks. I'm actually suggesting a name because it's not a certified planner type of video here, but you have to do your own due diligence on actually what kind of stocks you want to buy and what you feel safe with, and how much you feel comfortable with investing. But that is one way to build wealth, is dividend income. So basically, when you own a stock, they will give you a dividend either quarterly or annually or sometimes monthly, depending on the stock, and then you'll get some money back along with the price of that stock grows as well. Yes, it does dip and dive all the time, but if you hold on to it over time, that would likely grow as well. Likely, but obviously there's companies that do fall apart. So there's always risk involved. Otherwise, everyone would do more, right? Excuse me for that. But of course, real estate is another one. So, either flipping houses, rental income. You can even do this as a group type of investment with other folks at like investment firms, and pool money together for investment, real estate investments. But that is another way to make money for sure. As real estate has always been a tried and true method, and you really have to know what you're doing. So this video won't go into that, of course, but real estate is always a great way to make a lot more money, especially over time. That is one thing that this video is going to center on too, is the over time wealth growth. It's not going to happen overnight, except for if you can get a raise or a new job, that kind of thing. But the other streams of income is typically more of an overtime thing. And think about some other small ideas too, like writing a book or royalties, like from like a book or a song or even from a YouTube video, right? And over time, those things that can grow together. But royalties is another way to make more income. And I put this down just because I know a lot of folks won't do it. A lot of people will, let's say they have a friend that starts a business and they'll say, well, what can I have for free? Well, if I have a burger stand or a hot dog stand, I don't know, something that simple, why would I give you a burger for free? I have a business. I have to grow and pay for my materials and stuff like that, and maybe even an employee. How would you support it by just getting the burger or the hot dog? But in that regard, though, how invest in a friend's business with that can always help too. Obviously, if it's a friend that started a business, to invest one in, but I put that out there just because the options are limitless, really. But I just want to get some ideas for you to get started and get your brain thinking of where else you can develop your income. Now, for the last piece I wanted to cover is the budget. So a budget is, I think they say like 1% of the entire population can actually take a budget, zero it in on a budget, and stick to it to a T. It's 1%. So I'm not asking you to do that because a lot of people can't do it, and if you can't, you're not alone. But what you should do, though, once every so often that you get to it, is do the painstaking task of going through your budget, take how much money you make after taxes and such, and add up all of your expenses. Be true to yourself, right? So look at your bank statements and kind of compare how much do you go out to eat, how much do you spend at the grocery store, how much are you spending on gas. And make sure you have a good average on those numbers. And again, be true to yourself. Don't say, well, I think I spend $50 a month on this. Well, it's probably $200 if you go out every so often for dinners and drinks and stuff like that. But once you go through your budget, you'll kind of see where you actually stand. That is how you can kind of help yourself in the long term. Now, again, you're not going to stick to this budget to a T unless you can, great. But you're going to see where your holes are and where you can kind of reduce some expenses. Back to my first point, if you make more income, but you keep your expenses going up with your income, you're going to be more like paycheck to paycheck with a bigger hole if something fell apart in your job. So watch where you're spending, figure out where you can cut and that kind of thing. Especially if you're looking to invest more. This budget tool is going to help you figure out exactly where you can reduce expenses and exactly where you're going to do it on the budget. However, if you think about, you know, if you have, let's say it's a car expense and stuff like that, you're stuck in the lease. Okay, well, this will give you a good planning tool for the future when you get to that next vehicle of, reducing that amount in the lease, or finding something you can buy used in cash and not have a payment. There's always something you have to consider, but again, be true to yourself on the budget side. That's going to figure out where you can reduce even the smallest of expenses. Thanks for watching. I hope this helps you to get started with leveling up in your income life. It's kind of a little finance 100, 101, whatever type of class kind of as well. But I do hope that's helpful. Leave me a comment where you're going to help level up your own life. Tell me where you're lacking, where I can help as well. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and see you next time.